discuss today. Right. So the word pattern refers to the manner in which population is changing. So what is mean by pattern? The pattern word, it refers to the manner in which the population is changing. In what way the population is changing? Okay, so like, is it increasing or it is decreasing, or the population is stable? So that we can know in the pattern of the population change. Based on the population growth, these countries can be grouped into very high, having 3% or more annual natural increase, high, having 2 to 2.9% annual growth, moderate, having is I give given. Yes. So moderate having is 1 to 1.9% growth annually, and low having 0.9% or less annual growth. So based on the population, the countries have been divided into four categories. So based on the population of that particular country, it has been divided into four categories. They are: first category is very high populated country, and the second one is high populated country, third one is moderate populated country, and the last one is low. Okay, so based on the population of that particular country, the countries have been divided into four categories. The first one is very high population. So here the natural growth will be like 3% in a year. And the second one is high. It is 2 to 2.9% of the natural growth we can find in that particular country. And next, in the moderate countries, we can see 1 to 1.9% of the natural growth, and in the low, I mean population country, we can see 0.9% and less, or less natural growth we can find in the country. So this is the, and also we have discussed what is mean by natural growth. In the last class we have discussed the difference between the birth rate and death rate is referred as the natural growth. So what is mean by natural growth? This already yesterday we have discussed. This is one of the factor which is influencing the population change. So the natural growth in the sense difference between birth rate and death rate. So this is called as the natural growth. So now you can see the difference in the natural growth. In very high countries, 3% of the natural growth we can see, and in the high countries, 2 to 2.9 percentage of the natural growth you can see, and in the moderate countries where they have the moderate population in the country, there you can see 1 to 1.9% of the natural growth. And in the countries which are very low population, I mean which are very low populated countries, so there we can see 0.9% or less natural growth. That means we can observe the difference between the the birth rate and the death rate. So likewise we can find the differences between the death rate and the birth rate. So this is the the pattern of population change, that means we can observe. Yamini, I'll come to you at last. Okay, so this is the pattern of population change where we can observe in the different countries. So in the high populated countries, the pattern of population will be different. In the high countries, the population will be different. And in the likewise the moderate countries and low countries, so based on their population, the natural growth is also different. And the varying rates of population growth in the world are on account of difference in age, sex, literacy level, health condition, occupation, and income. See, these all countries are there, like very high population, moderate population, and low population. So children, here, which country will be more developed among these four types of countries? Okay, which country can get more benefits for the people? Can anybody tell me the answer? See, based on the population, the country,
Singapore.
yeah,
The moderate one.
yeah, low populated country will give more benefits to the people. Can you say why?
Because there will be less consumers and more resources will be available for them.
Very good. So the consume will be less. The people, whatever the consumption is there, that will be less, so that all the people can be benefited by the resources, whatever they have. See, their income sources will be more, job sources will be more, economical development will be more. So everything, this low populated country will be good in everything compared to the other three countries which are there. Because see, in very high populated country and high populated country, it is very difficult because the natural resources are very less. Okay, and the whatever the natural resources are present, and that resources should be given to all the people who are living in the country. So nobody will get the sufficient natural resources, or whatever it may not be about the natural resources, but it is about the employment opportunities which are there, the education facilities which are there, the economical development of the country which is there. So everything will be difficult in that country to manage because the population is more. So if we are doing in one place, and the other place will face the problem, so for government also it will be very difficult to provide all the facilities to the people. So in likewise, such problems will be faced in the countries where they are highly populated. And the level of income particularly determines the number of children. For example, farmers in India tend to have more children later to work as farm laborers. Educated professionals, on the other hand, prefer to adapt to small family norms. So children, why? In the rural area, yesterday we have discussed, compared to the urban areas, in the rural areas, okay, so the population is more compared to the urban areas. Why? Because mostly in the rural area we can find the agriculture. Okay, the main occupation of the rural area is the agriculture. So here, what the farmers will think, okay, instead of lending the people from outside, if they have a big family, if they have a very big family, then they can save the money, isn't it? So that's why they will tend to have a big family, means there the population there, the children will be more in that family. So likewise, the rural population automatically increases. The farmers will tend to have a big family, they tend to have a more children in the villages. So that's why the rural population will be more. If you see in the urban areas, especially, where we can see the educated people mostly in the urban areas, those who are doing in the, those who are occupied with the different jobs, okay, different occupations, so they will tend to have a small family. Okay, they'll tend to have a small family because it will be a burden for them if they have a big family, because everything will be very costly in the urban area. So that is the reason, so they will have a small families in the urban areas, and in the rural area the families will be very big, because the farmers, they can use their children to work in the agriculture field. So that is the difference, where the rural population is higher than the urban population, because the rural people will use their children in the working. So that is the reason the population will be more in the rural areas. And population composition. So the next topic which we are learning is population composition. Any doubt in the last topic, in the pattern of population change? Anybody have doubt? Yamini, you are asking something?
Yes, Miss. For the natural growth, why is it only very less, like 3%, 2 to 2.9%? Why isn't it like 80% or 90%? It's
So that
very
is
less.
a calculation by the government. Okay, so based on the percentage, how much percentage of natural growth is there in that that it may increase or decrease also. It is not restricted only 3% or 2.9. It is not like that. That may increase also. The percentage may increase or it may decrease also. Means the birth rate and
Okay.
death rate can increase sometimes, can decrease sometimes. So it is an average percentage is given, but it may increase or decrease also.
Okay.
Okay, right. So next we have population composition. What is mean by population composition? So let us see now. For studying the changing pattern of population, it is necessary to study population composition. The main components of population as mentioned before are age, sex, literacy, literacy level, health conditions, life expectancy, occupation, and income level. So, based on what the population composition will be there, how can we calculate the population, or how many children are there in the country, how many adults are there in the country, how many old people are there in the country, how many working people are there, how many male, how many female. So this is all called as the population composition. So how can we know these population composition? So if we want to know, we have to read all these things to know about the population composition. So now let us study each and every factor of the population composition. So, in the population composition, the first level which we are going to learn about the age structure. So, under this age structure, how many children are there? Okay, how many infant childs are there? Very, very small kids, the days and the months baby, and how many below 15 years children are there, how many working employees are there, or how many adult people are there, how many old people are there. So this all comes under the age structure. Age structure is one of the most important characteristics of population composition. It might be observed that number of elderly population, how many number of elderly population, and are highest in developed countries like Japan and Germany, whereas the youth population are highest in developing countries like Niger and Uganda. In both groups, more people are entering into a particular age group, there are many variable likes material status, literacy, working population, health conditions, economic activity, sex ratio, etc., that also determine the age structure. So overall age structure in the sense, so if you see developed countries, okay, the adult population will be more. So, what is the use of the adult population? They will earn more. Okay, the income will be more. Income of the people will be more. If the people income increases automatically, the government income also increases. The government income also more. So, I'm okay 5 minutes. So the government income also increases. So likewise in the developed country the adult people population will be more. So where the adult people will earn more and their income sources becomes more, if the people's income source is increasing automatically, the government income also will be increased. When the government income is increasing, it leads to the development of the country. Did you understand this topic?
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
how
Thank you.
government income will increase, ma'am,
Yeah,
if
very good
people
question.
think.
So here, Dhruv, the
Because of
people will
taxes.
pay the taxes to the government and each and everything like how we are paying taxes. So likewise, and all the goods or on all the products, everything we are paying taxes to the government. When the people, all maximum people of the country are paying taxes to the government, automatically the government income will be increased, and when the government income will be increased, that country will be developed more. So likewise in the developed countries we can see the adult population will be more. And in the developing country, for example, if you take India is a developing country, and if you see here in our country like India, we have youth population is more. Okay, this youth population will be more in the developing countries, not only India, in all the developing countries, the youth population will be more. So, like if you take India and if you take Uganda, Niger, and Uganda. So, in textbook, they have given these two examples. Okay, so in the developing countries, the population is composed with a youth population. So here for youth, they are not settled. Still, youth people are not settled. Okay, still it takes time where they'll become an employee. Okay, they have to become an employee and also they have to earn the money, then they'll pay tax to the government, then there is a big process to earning source in that particular country. So here in the developing country the youth population is more. So when this youth becomes the adults, then the income source will be more in that particular country. So in the developed country employees are more, in the developing country youth is more. So in the underdeveloped country they are not developing, they are not developed, still they need to go to the, they need to reach to the developing country. So there the and children will be more in that country where their income source is very less. Okay, so this is the age structure in the population. change we can see. Yes. So next we have age composition. Due to the rise in the life expectancy in the world, 80% plus the age structure of population has undergone in a major change. Now there are three categories of population existing in the world. They are children in the age group below 15 years, adults are working population in the age group of 15 to 65 years, old people in the age group of 65 and above years. Age composition. So if you take total world, we have three categories of age composition. Okay, the one is children, those who are 15 years below, and the second one is adults are working population, adults are working population. These people are in between 15 to 65 years old. And the next category we have old people. These people are 65 and above. So the complete world we have these kind of three category populated people: children 15 years and below, and adult people or working population in between 15 and 65, and old people 65 and above. So we have these kind of categories in the age composition. In the complete world we are following the same kind of age composition in the world. And children, they cannot work, and mostly they are for studies. Okay, and old people, they can't do any work due to their age. Okay, the complete burden in the country is on the shoulders of adult and the working adult or working population. So the complete economy of the country, okay, the complete economy, or if you take the complete development of the country, the complete development of the country is based on the adults of the country. If the adult population is more in the country, that country will become the developed country. If the children and old people are more in the country, so that country will be the, you know, developed and below developed country. So this is the age composition which we have. And next, sex ratio, that means the gender ratio, male and female. So how many male and how many female in the country, that is also matter in the population composition. Okay, gender ratio. So what is mean by gender ratio? That means for every 1,000 males, okay, how many females are there? So this is called as the sex ratio or gender ratio, right? So for every 1,000 males, how many females are there? So likewise they will calculate. So that is called as the sex ratio or gender ratio. So there are many socio-economic factors responsible for the sex ratio being high or low. If the number of female is lower than 1,000 males, the sex ratio is said to be adverse. India being a male dominated country, the sex ratio has always been adverse to females. So here, if the male is more, okay, and female is less. So this condition will be called as the adverse condition, where the male population is more and the female population is less. So that condition will be called as the adverse condition. So like India, we already discussed in the last chapter in unit 1 and unit 2, where in our country we used to have some social evils. Even some of you have explained this topic also, where the female infanticides were killed. The female children were killed
Yes,
due
ma'am.
to the so many things. It may be financial condition of the parents, or it may be they felt that girl child is a, that was a curse for the parents. So likewise, there are so many ideologies of the parents. So due to that, even till date also, the female is treating very badly in some of the places, and the female is treated very badly in some of the places. And if you compare it now also in our country, male population is more and female population is very less in our country. So this kind of situation will be called as the adverse situation in the country, where the male population is more and female population is less. So the sex ratio of India in 2011 was 943. It is much lower than the world average of 984, and easily slightly better than 933, which was in 2001. So in 2011, the male population was 943, and in 2001, the population was 933. So let us discuss about this tomorrow.